Okay, this is just silly. Why would I walk up a hill if I could ride up a hill? I want to share a few things about riding hills with you. Whether you're on a large adventure bike, today I'm on an old oil head BMW, or whether you're on a dirt bike, the technique and the process and the skills are going to be required are the same. There's two major things that you have to keep in mind. Number one is strategy, how to get up the hill. Number two is the technique to get up the hill. The number one mistake that riders make for strategy is starting the hill without one. Don't be afraid when you're setting this up to walk the hill. Make sure it's safe, clean out the rock, and make sure that you've got a clean track, especially on a big bike. The number one mistake for technique is when riders come to the hill, they approach too slow at the bottom. And as they get to the top and things slow down, they start adding throttle and spinning the back tire. And they dig it out, they lose traction, and then bad things happen. At the bottom, we have a pretty easy hill with a smooth approach. And at the top, we have a pretty steep, rough section that's going to be much more technical to get through. So the first strategy is figuring out how to approach this second section, because that'll decide what we do on the first part. When I'm looking at this very first section, on the right side, I have a nice smooth line that goes all the way up, but it's filled with this rock and gravel, and that's going to be very difficult for traction. When I look in the center of it, I've got some vertical faces on it where 4x4s and quads have gone up and chewed it up. On the left side, I'm left with just a clean track that goes all the way up the left, and I think this is the best strategy. At the bottom, I've got a lot of loose surface area, so I'm going to have to change my approach. As far as technique goes, what will happen is we'll come up on the side, blend controls, make a sharp turn here at the bottom. We're going to be going fairly slow because of the conditions. But from there to here, we need to get some momentum. Doesn't mean we have to go fast, but we need enough speed and enough momentum to get us up and over this low traction section. As we get towards the top, we're going to end up trimming power just a little bit, either with throttle or a combination of blending controls, throttle and clutch, so we can come up and over the top. All right, so we're going to make a run up this hill. The key to this is blending of controls, and that's just traction management, throttle and clutch to make sure we don't get too much wheel spin. Follow along here, cross through this little bit of a rut. That's actually the smoother contour. Got this high ridge in the center. I need to get crossed over so I can line up for that second section. There we go. And need some momentum. There we go. And trailing off the throttle, just enough to keep moving. Excellent. We made it. Beautiful. So going back down this, nice and slow. Once you start going downhill, it can be really difficult to take the speed off once you start going. The idea is to start at the top as close to a near stop as I can. So in this part here where it's really steep, I'm going to take all my speed off, my clutch is in, I'm trailing both front and rear brake, and I'm feeling for the rear. I don't want it to slide. I want to let both keep rolling. And if I hit the bonsai point, let them go. Look for the clean track. Excellent. Big hill, limited traction, no problem. I have to admit it, hills are one of my favorite things to do off-road. I love riding up hills and down hills, and it doesn't have to be scary, it doesn't have to be dangerous. You know, the idea here is practice, start on the little hills, work to the big hills, and don't go learning how to do this stuff with a fully loaded bike on some long adventure. Do it before then. With that said, I'm gonna go play on some hills.